Well, how's it going, proxies? Foxhole here, coming back with you with another topic of conversation, if you would. And in today's topic of conversation, I would like to take the time to sit down and talk about Zenless Zone Zero and pretty much my 2-week review of the game. So, for those out there who, you're new to the channel, you have no idea who the hell I am, let me just paint you a little bit of a picture, just exactly what I used to do and who I am. I'm a person who used to play fighting games, primarily Guilty Gear XR. From there, I played a lot of Dark Soul games, and the first real gacha that I got into was Weather and Waves. And with Weather and Waves, I have spent over probably around a good 3,000 or so hours plus, and with all the recent dramas about, the Mazuma Shield, the HP inflation, different topics, different arguments that has been presented, I decided to give Zenless Zone Zero a second chance. I did play when it first came out. Won't lie, the TV mode section and a couple things like that just did not appeal to me, so I never really continued it. But coming back into Zenless Zone Zero and giving it another shot, I have to say that I'm pleasantly surprised. So without further ado, I figure let's go ahead and let's talk about my 2 weeks and give you my honest opinion. All right, let's get into the video. Alrighty, proxies. So this is my 2-week review on Zenless Zone Zero. Like I said before, I'm more of a Weather and Waves player, and my background comes from fighting games and into Weather and Waves. And with a lot of the experience that I've been having with ZZZ, which derives mainly from a lot of drama that has been spilling out about the game from my particular community of Weather and Waves, I've been hearing things about the HP inflation. I've been hearing things about the shield mechanics. I've been hearing that you need to pull for a new character if you even want to have a chance, pretty much, to even get into 2.0 and complete the in-game content. Different things all over the board that is from content creators that don't regularly play ZZZ. These are people who, in my personal opinion, is observing the game from outside the box instead of actually stepping foot inside of the box. And the more I was hearing this, and the more it was, trickling into my chat when I was playing Weather and Waves, the more I decided, you know what, I want to give ZZZ another shot. When I first played ZZZ, I didn't quite like it. It had the TV mode section and stuff like this, and the game back then did not feel really polished or good in my personal opinion. The cinematics were great, but it's just the gameplay in general was not for me. So I ended up dropping it, and at the same point in time, I was more invested in Weather and Waves than anything else. So with this last 2 weeks, I decided to give it a second shot. I came into the game, and I want to experience the new end game. I want to experience Deadly Assault. I want to experience the Shiyu defense. I want to experience the tower. I want to get a full scope of character building. I want to get a complete idea just before I would give a true opinion. And along the lines, there's a lot of different things about ZZZ that I must say is absolutely wonderful. And first and foremost, I have to give big credit to the ZZ community, because you're called a bunch of elitists, right? If you're a person who plays ZZZ and you're part of this community, you're called an elitist. You're called someone who, is very sweaty. And these are typically the players that, when you come into their community and you try something that they're doing, these are the type of people that legitimately, in my personal opinion, are the harshest critics that you can have. You guys in the chat that, when I started playing ZZZ, you came in, holy moly, you guys have been absolutely wonderful in terms of helping me to learn how the game absolutely operates. And I have to give big props to the community for that. The community as a whole has not disrupted. Like, people could say what they want to say. They could say, you know, Weather and Waves always gets attacked by Hoyoverse or whatever, but ZZZ is like the most chill community there is. You guys are too busy looking at some boobies and some ass than you are trying to make war. I do see this, and you guys have helped me out tremendously on learning how to play characters like Hugo, how to play characters like Yishuan, how to play just in general and get the core concept of building and everything else. And it's been wonderful, and I thank you so much. And this is going to be, you know, a plug at the same point in time that if you are someone who plays ZZZ, or you're someone who's interested in playing ZZZ and you want some information, when we live stream, if you catch it, come on in, come have questions. If you're someone brand new, come help me if I'm doing something you think is wrong, and let's just enjoy ourselves. So I try to do live streams pretty much anytime after 7 p.m. Central Time Zone. I don't put in like particular time when I start. It's just whenever I feel like it. But typically you will see a alert on my stream that says, hey, upcoming live stream, and that's when I should be doing it, is around that time. Now, back to this. Again, community, you're absolutely wonderful. I have to give also big shout outs to, you know, Muzzy, to Hako, to even the Milkman himself for a lot of the different videos you guys have put out there. A lot of these videos are quite entertaining, quite informational, and in all comes out really in handy when I'm building my knowledge for ZZZ. I know I'm still a newbie in this, and that this review should not particularly, you know, be, you know, the absolute end all type of review, but you are the guys that I think that a lot of people should watch and would get a good idea and a good sense of just how good this game is. So with that out the way, I want to talk about the game. And one of the things I can say is that while Weather and Waves is a good game, I mean, it's a very good game, WUWA. It's one of the games that I do still enjoy playing once in a while now, but not as much as ZZZ. WUWA has its problems. That is undeniable. I know that there is some people out there that does not quite like the fact of me saying that, but it is true. ZZZ is also a game that I think that, you know, it has its high moments and it does have its low moments. But when it comes into different things that we would compare, such as story, I have to say from all the story that I've experienced so far in ZZZ, except a good bit of 2.0, which I will say I think 2.0 is a starting, but everything else has been absolutely a wonderful pacing. Like, one of my biggest complaints in Weather and Waves is that after pretty much 1.1 story, the story for WUWA was, in a sense, the pacing has kind of not hit the mark. And with 2.0 of Weather and Waves, the story lost me when it went more into the Broadway musical high school drama club style of art, where characters are more playing in a play, it feels like, than an actual seriousness that it should have, like 1.0 had. But that's, again, story is subjective. To me, Weather and Waves puts in a lot of more questions than answers, whereas ZZZ does have its questions, but answers a lot more. And in general, its chapters act like actual anime episodes, if you would, that go from one to the other. This is something I really like. When it comes into the combat of ZZZ, I have to admit, okay, this is now again something that's a little bit more subjective, but the combat of ZZZ, I do feel, is a lot harder than WUWA, especially for the primary sense that there's a lot of information that is given to you in a short time that you need to make sure that you're understanding. There is mechanics in this game that acts like a fighting game, to where combos in general are your bread and butters, is more mechanically sound, more mechanically involved than Weather and Waves. You play Weather and Waves as a hyper carry, as a quick swap team, that's great. when it comes to something like, you know, ZZZ, you have to worry about different anomalies. Setting up, you know, for like Miyabi, you have to have it to where, you know, you're hitting one anomaly, then you're hitting, you know, an ice anomaly to go ahead and to proc it, to do ice burn. You have to make sure you're looking at your stacks. You need to make sure that in general that there's a lot of things that's going on. You have to make sure you're canceling out your chain combos in order to provide more damage to this with the stun meter. And all of this together gives a more mechanical, a more skill-based focus than I do feel that Weather Waves has. You as a player have to take all this information into account. It's not just simple go in and press buttons and go mash your way through. You could do that, but you're losing out on damage. Whereas in here, you know, well, let me put it like this. Best example, in WUWA, it is practically, in my personal opinion, you're going to be popping in Shorekeeper, pressing all, popping everything she's got, swapping over to your sub DPS, let's say like Phoebe, popping all her stuff, then you're going to be swapping over to Sandy, popping all her stuff, hit her ult, and just go to town because she's buffed. In ZZZ, there's more mechanicalness to this. There is, like, if you're going to play Hugo, you're going to be going into Hugo, you're not going to be touching the DPS. You're going to be using Lycon and Lighter. You're going to be applying buffs with their EX effects. Then from there, when you're going to do a chain attack, you're going to cancel out the chain attack. You're going to pop in Hugo. Then when you're popping in Hugo, you're going to cancel out again, go into Lycon, pop back in Hugo, and do everything to where you keep that stun meter as long as possible, so that way you use it as an effect to actually attack the enemy to do maximum damage with totalization. It's beautiful. It's more in depth. And like I said, like I will say this on the live stream, when it comes down to ZZZ, I will say it like this: it's not for everybody. If you are a person who likes fighting games, you're a person who likes, in general, you know, more in depth to your combat, to where you want to focus on multiple mechanics at once, yes, ZZZ is there for you. From its elemental system that it does have embedded, to its skill cap, the sky's the limit, and it's really, really enjoyable. And when you learn how different characters align and how they work and how they apply buffs, it's like playing a fighting game. And it's just, the more you fail, the better you get, and the better you get, the prouder you get, and the more excitement you get. This is where, like, I will say that in Weather and Waves, its presentation is more built around the open world focused area. It's more built around the visuals. It's more based around you as a player not having to worry about all these mechanical skill values. You're worrying about just how your character operates. In ZZZ, without the open world aspect and everything else, it's more based on the idea of you need to learn more of a deeper mechanics that this game does provide in order to maximize your damage. And you can go watch a lot of different videos. Like, a lot of people in the stream would show me a guy named Yoji, which is like a complete person that's on a whole totally different level, that gets stunned, that basically stuns the stun timer for an additional 35 seconds and does so much damage to where it's like absolutely watching a pro player playing a fighting game. I have to say, my review for ZZZ, especially now, has been absolutely one of the most wonderful enjoyment games that I have enjoyed. And I do think that if you're a person who tried ZZZ, you didn't like it like I did, that you should probably maybe give it another chance, especially if you like fighting games in general. Like, if you're a person who likes Guilty Gear, Street Fighter, you know, give ZZZ another shot, please. My thing is that even though I am sort of comparing Weather and Waves to ZZZ, we need to also understand that the comparisons of these two games is really, really hard to do, because one's an instant-based game and the other one is an open-world game. And straight up, I'm going to tell you that it's kind of dumb to really compare these two games. Comparing Weather and Waves to Genshin is more of the actual real sentiment to do this. I do think that there is some people in the WUWA community that might be a little bit too emotionally involved in this game to really actually give a true comparison, to give a true review on it. And the reason behind that is just, you know, they really like Weather and Waves, and they just don't want it to see it fail. And it's not going to fail. I think, like, again, the one thing that I have always stated so far is that ZZZ and Weather and Waves really complement one another. I think that both these games give two different distinctive needs in gaming that by themselves they don't actually do, but together gives a player exactly that adrenaline rush that they want. Because sometimes you want to play brain dead combat, you don't want to worry about mechanics, you want to play Devil May Cry, right? And then other days you want to play a fighting game that's more strategic, you want to play League of Legends in a sense. Again, I think both games really complement themselves and they really operate well. And I implore you that if you're a person who's new to ZZZ, you want to give it a shot, or you're a person who gave up on it and you haven't touched it since, give it another shot. 2.0, I will say, like, right now with 2.0, there is some things around it that does feel a little bit slow, but if you watch it and you go through it, it's just setting up for 2.1, and I can excuse that. So I'm gonna leave it with that, guys. I know this review was just very simple, very you know, it's very simple review, but I think it gets to the point. Tell me what your guys' thoughts are down in the comment section below. And again, guys, if anything, remember this channel is mostly for streaming, so if you do happen to watch this video, catch me live streaming, come pop in, say hi, and give me your thoughts if you don't mind. This is a safe place, whether you like Weather and Waves, whether you like Genshin, Honkai Star Rail, or you love ZZZ. At the end of the day, I think that we should be able to enjoy whatever the hell we want to enjoy, and we should still all be friends at the end of the day. So until next time, take it easy, and I'll see you on the flip side.